Just start the recording.
Mhm.
Okay, so the recording has started. So did you get a chance to talk to any of the career coach or anyone from Janbest recently?
About what?
I don't. I have mailed them for adding the classes, but they have not added anything yet. Because
Oh,
initially I was told that there will be 30 classes. They told me that they will be adding the next classes soon, but still now they have not added, and there were only 12 classes, and today is the 12th class. So maybe today I will again talk to them.
yeah. I paid them, so they should add the classes.
Mhm. Okay, I'll just share the screen. So today we don't have much to discuss. So in today's session, we don't have much. So what I was planning is I was planning that we can have a series of some MCQ questions as well that you can solve today, just to the reason is not to assess, or this is not like some assessment, but just to see, I mean, how are you comfortable with the questions, because those are the
But
questions.
I haven't reviewed all the material. I mean, it's just only yesterday's lesson I reviewed, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not ready.
that's fine, that's fine. I mean, this is not like any assessment or something like that. Okay, so this is just to see that where are you standing right now. I mean, whether the concepts are clear or not. So do you want to do it today, or do you
No,
like to do it tomorrow?
no, I don't. I mean, on a working day, I don't have time to review everything. So only the previous day's lessons I review. I don't have the time. So it's just a. If you give me the questions, maybe I can prepare, but I
Okay,
won't be ready by tomorrow. I have lots of work this weekdays, right?
okay, okay, fine. Okay,
I
then what
can
we
work
can
on the
do
question.
is, can we do it on 6th then? I mean, your 5th, because weekend will be there. You can prepare
I
yourself, and then we can do it on. And again, like the scores and all, that doesn't matter. That is not anything. And even like we are not going to look at the score as well. So what I want is you can get a feel that how comfortable you are with testing. So for that, actually, I was planning that we can have a MCQ kind of thing.
mm, I'll tell you on Monday because I don't know. I have to juggle work and this to review the whole thing may take time. So I just do only one lesson at a time.
Okay, okay, okay. Then so let's start with today's session then. Yeah. So welcome to the 12th session of our QA training. And today's objective is to look upon this particular things. We are going to see some of the test tools. So the tool support for managing test, the tool support for static testing, tool support for test specification, tool support for test execution and logging, tool support for performance, and what are the advantages of using this testing tools.
So
So
this is very important for interview, right?
which one?
This one, this lesson.
This one, no. This is not at
Okay.
all important for interview, and this is something that you will get to work when you are on a project, or you are working with the team, because this is
Oh,
very much team specific. Which team uses which tool, and
mhm.
as I already mentioned that in most of the cases, right, all the teams are using the agile methodology nowadays, and the best tool that they use while working in agile methodology is Jira, the same tool that I had shown to you.
Mhm.
So most often, like, that is the tool that is being used by all the teams, and the tool Jira has the capability, to support all these things. So to
Mhm.
manage the test, to manage the static testing, to have the test plan and all, and then test execution, logging, defect tracking. So all this can be managed by Jira itself for supporting the performance and all. So if you want to have your performance test, so for that there are different other tools, like we have load runner, we have JMeter, where you can write your script for the performance testing. So that we will look today. Okay, so what are the different type of tools, test tools that are available? So so why these tools are required, why these test tools are required? So these test tools are required to support the management activities, to support the static testing, to have everything in one place, so that you can get the reports out of that, and you don't need to move from one place to another place to look out for things, right? So that's why you need either some commercial tool or some open source tool. Although the open source tools are the free tools are more often like considered, but they come with some drawbacks, or they have some limitations of usage. So when you are working with a big team, and there are certain compliances as well. So based on that, normally when you are working in an enterprise level, so that is when you will need those commercial tools, which will require some licenses as well, and those are normally used in the different organizations as well. Okay, so normally Jira, the tool that I was talking to you, so that comes with both. That has a enterprise level usage as well, and on a personal level as well. You can create an account and use that for free. Okay, so what you can do is you can check the site of the Atlassian. Uh, I will just show you. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So see, this is the site of Atlassian. Okay.
Mhm.
And here, if you go down, you will see Jira Work Management.
Mm.
If you go to Agile, excuse me, you'll
I
see
see.
Jira software here.
Mhm.
If you go to Jira software, so you get it free. This option is there. So this is a cloud-based application, and you need to sign up with your Google account, or you can give your, you don't have the work email, so you need to continue with the Google account, and then you can create your account, which is free for use on an individual level. And then you can explore the things, what are the different things that are available there.
What do we use it on an individual level for?
So for individual level, normally if someone is working on a freelance basis, okay, he is not working with any organization, he's working with freelance basis, but he has some customer, and he wants to provide them the reports, the test cases, the progress. So he wants to track everything. So in that case also he can use the
Mhm.
Jira software. But practically it's being used by the entrepreneurs, and in an enterprise level.
Okay.
So you can just register yourself, and explore the things, whatever is present there.
Mhm.
Okay, so some tools perform a very specific and limited function, sometimes called a point solution, but many of the commercial tools provide support for a number of different functions. So that is called tool suites or families of tools. For example, a test management tool may provide support for managing tests, configuration management of testware, incident management and requirement management, traceability. Another tool may provide both coverage measurement and test design support. Okay, so there are things that computers can do much better or more quickly than people can do. For example, to add up 23 digit numbers quickly, that is not easy most people to do. There are chances that you make mistakes even if the numbers are written down. A computer does this accurately and very quickly. So the thing that is they are trying to mean here is basically, if you keep everything separately, and if you don't use a certain tool, like you can also use say word documents, say excel documents, to track everything, to log your bugs, and to have your test plan, to have your test scenario and whatnot. So in that case, that will be very hard to manage. And when when we talk about the traceability matrix, so do you remember what is traceability matrix?
Stress. What did you
uh,
say?
Traceability matrix.
Uh-uh. No.
Yeah, so traceability matrix, we had already discussed about that. So traceability matrix is basically the mapping in between the requirements, your test scenarios and test cases. Okay, so that gives you the coverage of how much testing you are doing, and whether your testing is covering all the requirement or not. So whether you are missing anything from the requirement in your testing or not. So that will get from the traceability matrix. So this traceability matrix and all these things can be covered through a test tool, test configuration tool, or test management tool. And if you don't have such tool in your hand, in that case, it will be very difficult for you to uh, uh, handle all these different things, because you are going to have the test plan document. From there, you are going to have the test scenarios, you are going to have your test cases. After that, you are going to have all the different things like the uh, when you are executing your test cases, some of the test cases are going to be passed, some of the test cases are going to be failed. So the test cases which are going to be failed, you are going to have the defects logged for those. Then the defect will have its own life cycle as well, right? We looked at it yesterday. So the
Mm-hmm.
defect will be having its own life cycle. The defect will be fixed. Once the defects will be fixed, you will retest those defects and close those defects. If not, then you will again reopen and assign those back to the
Mm-hmm.
developer. Then once the defects is fixed, and then you are going to retest your failed test cases as well. Then maybe you need to do another round of test, and there will be another round of another test cycle. You will do your regression testing there, and on a daily basis you will need the test report as well, to provide it to the stakeholder, or to provide it to your customer or the higher management. So all these things has to be managed, and if you're not using any particular test management tool, it will be very difficult to manage everything. So that's why we certainly need this kind of test tools. Okay, so what are the different type of tools that are there for managing test? So the first is like the test management tools. So test management tools refers to the activity of managing the computer software testing process. A test management tool is a software used to manage test. It can be automated or manual, both, that have been previously specified by a test procedure. It is often associated with automation software. So for managing the manual test cases, we have something like Jira. There are other tools as well which are present, like from HP there is a tool called HP ALM, which is also used as a test management tool. There are other test management tools like Bugzilla, and you don't have to remember all this. You can just remember Jira, because that is the most important tool, and mostly that is used by different organizations and projects. So that is mostly used for the managing the manual test cases. Okay, now we can have a, in a project we can have the automation test cases as well. So there are different other tools that are used to manage those automation test cases. Like we have different version controlling tools like GitHub or Bitbucket, where these softwares are being used to as a repository of the automation test cases. Okay, so it depends on the project, or it depends on the organization as well where you are working, that which tool they are using for managing their test wares, or test cases and test plan, and as the defect management tool and all. Okay, so then we have the requirement management tools. So requirement management tool is basically the software that, or the tool that they're using to manage the requirements. So the requirements, if you are using Jira, so in Jira can have different type of stories, different type of tasks. So there you can have the user stories as well, which where you can have your requirements. Now if you are not using Jira, then there will be some other tools which the organization or the the company can use to have their requirements. So somewhere like some companies can use Confluence as well, which is again a tool of Atlassian. So if you go to Atlassian, you will see something called as Confluence. um, Yeah, see this Confluence. So this Confluence is basically a content collaboration tool, and there are many companies which which use this Confluence as the requirement management tool as well. Then if you go to Agile and DevOps, you'll see Bitbucket. So this Bitbucket is used for handling the code and for the CI/CD purpose as well. So that is required for automation, to handle or to manage your automation test scripts. Okay.
Mhm.
So normally this is very famous tool nowadays, this Atlassian. They provide a variety of tools which supports different type of activities related to testing and both development. And this Jira is something that is widely used for the test management software, or test as a test tool management software. Okay, so what is written here? Let's see that since the tests are based on requirements, the better the quality of the requirements, the easier it will be to write tests from them. It is equally important to be able to trace tests to requirements and requirement to test. Some requirement management tool are able to find defects in the requirement. So there are some tools present as well, although those are very less, which can actually find defects in requirements. So there are some AI based tools where you can input your requirement, and it can uh, give you some insights that okay, this requirement can be these things are missing from the requirement, and you can add this particular scenarios in your requirement. But mostly if you see, those are reviewed manually by the teams, and then those requirement defects are found. But to have the collaboration between all the teams, the development team, the testing team, and the other teams, the operation team, a tool is required where they can upload all their documents, all the requirement documents, and all the team can have the access of those requirements, and they can go through those requirements and use those when the developers are doing their designing and all. They can refer to those documents when the testers are doing their test design, test planning, so they can also refer to such requirement documents. Do you have any query?
No, for every domain, the same tool can be used, or it matters from,
So
like for
what do you
health.
mean by, yeah, for healthcare or say any other banking or finance domain, the tools can be same. So the tools
Okay.
won't be differing uh, with the uh, different domains.
Okay.
Okay, then we have the incident management tool. So incident management tool is basically the defect tracking tool. Okay, so and I have already shown you what are the different things then that we can do using the defect management tool. We can raise the bugs, and then according to the bug life cycle or defect life cycle, the bug can be assigned to different person according to its state. If it's in a new state or it's in the testing state, then it will be assigned to the testers. Otherwise, if it's in the fixation state, it's in the open state, that it will be assigned to the
Yeah.
developer. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then once it's closed, or sometimes it might also happen that you have certain queries, and you have some confusion, and the developers are also having some confusion. In those cases, the defects can be assigned to some customer side, some business analyst or the stakeholders as well. Okay,
Mhm.
for getting
Mhm.
the answers from their side. So incident management tool, perhaps a better name for it, because not all of the things tracked are actually defects. So yeah, so the thing that we were discussing yesterday as well, that everything that you are logging, so that might not be defect as well, you can have some misunderstanding as well, and that's why
Mhm.
it's called as incident management tool. So
Mhm.
one thing that I wanted to show you is how the defect life cycle looks like in Jira. There are a couple of things that I will show you today, because okay, yeah, I have found that, because we don't have much to discuss today, and these things are really not at all important from neither from work perspective nor from the interview perspective, because no one is going to ask you this, and this you are not going to use, or this is not at all important. This is just some theory part, and this is very very less thing to discuss today. So what I'm going to do is to utilize this class to give you some practical example. Okay, I'll just stop the sharing for once, and okay, so I hope my screen is visible to you again.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so hmm. So this is the example of sprint board. Okay, so what is sprint board? Sprint is something that I already mentioned to you,
Yeah.
that when
Categorized into groups.
yeah, so when you are working on agile, so a
Mhm.
particular release is divided into some sprints. Okay,
Yeah.
so each sprint can have like 2 to 3 weeks of time. Okay, and in that
Mhm.
2 to 3 weeks of time, what are the different tasks that you are going to do? So those will be here in this board. Okay, so suppose you have logged a bug. Okay, so the bug will be assigned to the developer, and where will it come? It will come to to do status. So the
Mhm.
that means that the developer has to fix that bug, and
Mhm.
he has not started yet. So that's why it will be there in the to do
Mhm.
column. Okay, this is the
Mhm.
column of to do. Now what will happen? Uh, the developer will start working on that. So
And becomes active.
yesterday, yes, we saw that it will become open or active,
Active.
right? In the
Mhm.
diagram. So here it will be moved to in progress.
Mhm.
Okay, so in progress means the developer has started, looking into the bug.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, if we when he is fixing the bug, and once the bug is fixed, so there will be a code review in between the developers. Whatever changes they are making, so there will be a code review of that. Okay.
Mhm.
So when the bug is in code review, so that means the developers are reviewing the code changes. Once the
Mhm.
review is done, it will go to build or validation. So what do you mean by build or validation? That means they are providing you the build for testing.
Oh,
Once the build is ready, it will come to awaiting QA. So what do you mean by
testing.
awaiting QA? Yes, it
Testing.
is ready for testing. So you have
Mhm.
not started the testing yet, it's pending for testing. So
Mhm.
now what will you do? You'll start the testing. So when you start the testing, it will come to in QA.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now suppose you are seeing that the bug is not fixed, the bug is still there.
Then reopen.
Okay.
Send it
What
to
will
the
it will again
send
come
it to
to to do
the
status.
send it to the developer for reopening.
Yes, so it will come to do again
Oh,
because the bug is not fixed. If the bug is fixed, what will you do? You will move it to acceptance, and then it will be moved to done.
okay.
So that is how, I mean, the bug life cycle is maintained in Jira software.
So if the bug is not fixed and the developer rejects it, where does it go?
So if the developer will reject it, so maybe he can move it to awaiting QA again by mentioning all the comments and all. Okay. Otherwise, he
Where?
can directly. So normally he can't move it to acceptance. The reason is if he is mentioning that this is not a valid bug, in that case you need to also provide your comment there, that okay fine,
Where?
this is actually not a bug, and there was some mistake from your side there, or there was a misunderstanding from your side. So normally he will move it to awaiting QA after providing his comments. Or maybe what he can do is he can keep it in progress and provide his comments and tag you there itself that this
Mm.
is not a valid bug. So once he provide his comments, so these things actually vary project to project. So in some project they follow the I mean process that if you think that the bug is not a valid bug, you need to move it to awaiting QA, and then only the QA person will look into that. Somewhere it is followed that okay, you need to provide the comments and all. The QA person will again check whether this is actually valid or not valid, and then we can move it to or close the bug.
Mm.
Okay, so that depends. But the thing is that the bug life cycle should be followed. I mean,
Mm.
the um, if the developer is thinking that it's not a valid bug, he should provide his comment and all. He will mark it as not valid, and then the tester will again retest that or again look into that. And then if he also thinks that okay, this is actually an invalid bug, they can close the bug. But if he finds that no, it's a valid bug, then he can reopen the bug.
Mm.
Okay, but this is how the bug life cycle is maintained.
Mm.
Okay, let's go back to our slide. Okay, so that is what we have from the incident management tool. Okay, now we have the review process support tools. So for an informal review where one person looks at another's document and gives a few comments about it, a tool such as this might just get in the way. However, the review process is more formal when many people are involved, or when the people involved are in different geographical locations. Then tool support becomes far more beneficial. So for reviewing and all, like if you have such a tool where, so this also I can show you. Mm, yes. So Suppose these are the requirements. Okay, so these are the requirements which have been, uploaded in Confluence. So Confluence is some tool that I already told you, right? This
Mm.
also comes from the Atlassian, and you can see all the requirements are given there. So all the scope, what is the functional requirement, so everything is mentioned here. Now what we can do is, as a test team member or a development team member, we can actually review these documents. So see, all the reviewers are tagged here, right? So all the product owners, the developers, the testers, so they can come and review this requirement documents from here, right? So this is basically how it can be helpful to review the documents and all. uh, if you don't have such tool, or if you don't have such process, what will you do? You'll have a Word document, or say a PDF document with your like requirement, and then you will mail it to everyone. That's what you are going to do. So everyone is going to, review those individually and provide or like reply back to you in the mail. So it will be very difficult for you to, go through each mail and see what they are commenting on the requirement document. And one more thing is there, that suppose it has been sent to 5 people, one people is replying back, so other people don't know what, some other people are providing as their feedback. So that is not a good idea to collaborate. And I mean, there will be gap of knowledge as well. If you don't have a particular tool for this review process, but when you have a central tool to do all these things, then things become more easier.
Mm.
Then we have the static analysis tools. So the static analysis tools, this is also for, I mean, the review, or as part of developers, they use these tools, to do their static analysis of their testing, or the review of their code. So for those, they have some certain tools which they use. Now the finally the modeling tools is also there. So do you remember where this modeling come in the software development lifecycle models? We had some of the models modeling present in a certain lifecycle model.
No.
The data model, the process models, those things were
Oh,
there.
I don't remember.
So what are the different models that we had?
You mean
Software
the V,
development lifecycle model. Yes.
the V model, the spiral, the
Yeah.
waterfall?
Okay. Then we have the iterative
Mm.
model.
Yeah,
We have incremental model.
yeah.
We had something called as RAD.
Yeah.
So in RAD, what was specific to that? What was happening in RAD?
It was a rapid development
Rapid
model.
application development model.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So something that you need quickly, and you need a high skill
Yes.
that to do that.
Yes. So the special thing about RAD was there were different modelings that were there, right? The data model, the process models, and all. And based on that, the code used to be generated automatically. They use some automation
Nice.
code generation tool, which will
Mm.
generate the code for you. But prior to
Uh-huh.
that, there were some modeling which was there, which will help you to generate the code. I think that was there in the RAD. If you look,
Mhm.
so see, these models were there: business modeling, data modeling, process modeling, and all.
Yeah.
and there are some automation tools which will help you to generate the code, this application code.
Mhm.
Okay. So in such models we need this modeling tools as well, and the automation code generation tools as well, which will actually help you to generate these models. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
which models are required for that, we don't need to know at all, and no one is also going to ask you that what are the different tools. This is for the knowledge purpose. These are not at all important from the interview or from the work perspective. Okay, so the tool support for test specification. So to do the test design, you can have certain tools like Jira provides you the option to write the test cases, write the test plan in it, or like you can have Confluence with yourself as well, where you can you know upload the test plan, and from there you can write your test cases in Jira itself. Okay, so if I show you, um, yeah, so these are the different test cases that we are having. So if I open one, so this is the description of the test case. This is also the Jira tool, right? This is also Jira. And if you go there, see, these are the test cases. What will be your action and what is the expected result from there, right?
Mm.
So these are the different test cases. So that's how you can write your different test cases here, and then you can also execute those. So while you'll be executing those, you can go to action. Okay. So these are the manual test cases. So that's why it's written as test type manual. Okay. And if you go to test set, so I think the reason that so see this test plan, so nothing is present here for now. It's you know linked to some other test plan, but see, everything is mentioned here. I mean, your test case, so these are the test cases that you are having. So which test plan it is mapped to, so that is present here. Now if you are trying to execute, you can go to test run and you can execute these test cases as well.
But is it manual or automatic? If you go to test one,
this
is it
is this is manual, this is manual. So you can actually whenever you are trying to execute this test case, you will do a new test execution, and then all these steps will be coming, and according to that you will perform your testing, and then you can either make the test as pass, or if the test is failing, you can mark it as fail.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
any questions?
I don't know. This seems like it's beyond me. I'm just following what you say. I don't know how to execute a test and do all this,
Hello,
but I guess I'll learn it.
hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Don't know how this become mute. Okay. So any query from here?
No, I just saw all these screens, but I don't know how, to do all this. So,
So this, like, at present you don't have to do. I'm just showing you so that you can get the idea. Okay.
sure, sure. Thank
So
you.
this things actually has to be done manually. I mean, when you are writing your test case, at that time you need to prepare all these things. So you remember those different test design techniques, right?
Hmm.
What were those?
I don't know. I cannot relate this to that. I just cannot.
So there were different test design techniques, right? The boundary value analysis and
Mhm.
what was there?
The
Equivalence
equation
partitioning.
equal, equal partition.
Yeah. So based on those, you need to write what are you going to do to test the application. What are the steps to test the application? So suppose you want to test the you want to buy a product and you from Amazon, and you need to write the test case for that. So what are the different steps that we are going to perform? So that you need to write. So suppose the first step will be to log into amazon.com using a particular, say, credential, your credential, user ID and password. So what will be your expected result for that step? You should be able to log in successfully, right?
Mhm.
After that, what will you do? That will be the step 2. You'll search for the product, and once you search for the product, the expected result is the product should be shown in the product search result page, right?
Mhm.
After that, you will
Mhm.
be clicking on the product, right? So after clicking on the product, what will be the expected result? The product details page should be displayed. The,
Mhm.
say, the value should be there, the price should be there, the description of the product should be there. So that will be your expected result. Now what
Mhm.
will do? You will add the product into your cart, right? So the expected result is when you move to your cart, the product should be present in your cart, right?
Yeah.
What will be the next step? The next step is you will add a payment method.
Mhm.
So once you add the payment and click on the payment, it should go to the payment gateway,
Mhm.
right? Now
Yeah.
you will enter your card details and all, and you will make the successful payment. The expected result is your order should be placed and you will get the order ID.
Mhm.
So that is the example of a test case, of a sample test case.
Okay.
Now we talked about the positive case. Now there could be some negative cases as well, as per your
Mhm.
test design.
Mhm.
So for that negative case, you will have another test case. So whatever test cases is possible for that scenario, you'll have a set of test cases then in this way. So see, these are all different test cases for all
Mhm.
different scenarios. Those can be positive scenarios, those can be negative scenarios. So these are the things that you will do in the test planning phase.
Mhm.
Now, once your test cases are ready, your test data is ready, what are you going to do? You have the build from the developer, then you will start your testing. So when you will
Mhm.
start your testing, you'll come here, you'll open each test case, go to the test run, and you will execute from here. So once you start, executing new test execution, so all these steps will come. Now
Mhm.
you'll look at each step. You will open Amazon, right? You will open
Mhm.
your application under test. You will see what the step is telling you to do. You will do such and such.
Mhm.
Now, on a particular step, if the test case is failing, you need to mark it as failed.
Mhm.
So once you mark the test step as failed, the entire test case will be failed. So once your test case is failing, what you need to do? You need to go and create a bug for that, right?
Mhm.
So for the same thing, you will create a bug. You will provide your summary, the defect category, and all those things that we saw yesterday, right? Do you have
Yeah.
any query now?
No, no. That was understood the Amazon exam.
Okay, okay, good. So I'm just showing you this thing so that it can get a brief idea. I mean, how the test cases look like, how those are
Mm.
maintained in a particular tool. So if you are using some other tool, the look and feel will be different, but the thing that will be doing will be the same.
Okay.
The same thing will be done in different tools, but the purpose is same. The purpose is to maintain all the things. And so see, there are different folders here, right? So all these
Mm.
folders are for different applications. Okay, so we have something called mobile deficiency completion, and under that these test cases are coming. So these
Mm.
test cases are particularly relevant to this mobile deficiency completion. If you go to some other folder, you will see some other test cases. You see the smoke tests are there, the regression tests are there, and under the regression test, there are automated tests, there are manual tests. If you go under manual test, so you'll see these test cases are present there. Okay.
Mm.
So you don't need to remember these things, because people are not going to ask you anything in the interview. But when you'll start working on any project, at that time they will give you the knowledge. I mean, how do you handle these tools, or how do you use these tools, what to do, how to add the tests and what not. So all these things will be given to you.
Mm.
So suppose you want to add a test case. So for that, your issue type is a test. So here, if you need to give a summary, and if you go down, which module, which team, so all these things you need to provide, and then you need to also provide the steps and the acceptance criteria. So all those things you need to provide here.
Mm.
I can't go and create anything here, because this is something that we use for production, and I can't create
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
here to show you. But I think overall you have got an idea how these tools are used,
yeah.
right? Okay, that was the goal, to show you these things. So in the test design tools, like these tools help to construct test cases, or at least test input. If an automated Oracle is available, then the tool can also construct the expected result. So it can actually generate test cases. So these are like theoretical. None of the projects, or they are going to use some automated tool which is going to generate your test cases. That is not being used anywhere. So maybe there are some tools which can give you some automated tests from the functional test, but again, you need to do a lot of rework for that. So that era has not come yet, where you can write your manual test cases. You can give it as an input to some AI, or some artificial intelligence tool which will give you the automated tests which you can directly run. So that those are the things which are not available yet. But
Mm.
for functional testing and all, you need to use such tools. I mean, these tools like this Jira, or there are some other tools like ALM and all, which you can use. And there you can keep all your test plan, all your test cases, all your test execution, the bugs and everything will be managed from there itself.
Mm.
Okay. And then there is data test, data preparation tools as well. So this is normally used in some specific domains. Like if you have some you are working in a telecom domain, or if you are working some other domain like financial domain, where you need a lot of test data. Okay, so in those cases they can use some tool where you can provide some input, and based on that they will provide you the test data. They will generate the test data and provide it to you, which you can use in your testing. So suppose
Mm.
if I give you the example of Amazon.com itself, so you need to test with different user. Okay, so what will be those different user ID and password? So you can have some automated script which you can run, and which will provide you those input data, those user ID and password, the product details and all, those that particular tool will generate and give it to you. Now you can use those test data to perform your testing.
Mm.
Okay, is it clear?
Yeah, yeah.
Even for performance testing as well. So in case of performance testing, we discussed, right, we will give the load on the system. So there will be 100 of users, say 500 of users, of 1000 of users, with whom we'll provide the load on the system, right,
Mhm.
for doing the load testing or stress testing. So how will you get all these different users? You are not going to sit and create each of those users by yourself. So for
Mm.
that, there are some tools which are available, which will generate those test data for you. And now you can use those test data to perform your load testing or stress testing or performance testing and all.
Mhm.
So that is what, it is written here. Setting up test data can be a significant effort, especially if an extensive range or volume of data is needed for testing. Test data preparation tools helps in this area. They may be used by developers, but they may also be used during system or acceptance testing. They are particularly used for performance and reliability testing, where a large amount of realistic data is needed.
Mm.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's take a small break here. We don't have much left. Let's take a small break and then we will continue and complete the
Mm.
rest.
Okay.
Okay, so we are back.
Mhm.
So I have just pinged you one link. Can you just download that?
Where is it?
Sorry,
Where is the thing?
I
I
have
don't see
pinged
it.
you it in chat,
Uh,
the Zoom chat.
uh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah, just download that. We will talk something about the test cases today. That is not given in today's agenda, but I think that is something which is required. So we will cover it today, maybe because till now whatever we have gone through, uh, we had not seen this thing, I guess, how to write the test cases or what will be the template of test cases. We have seen the template of test plan, we have seen the template of test strategy and all, but I think the test case template we have not seen, right?
Uh,
Yeah. So this is how we will see how a sample test case template look like. We can actually, the tools that we use, no, so they give us the option to write the test cases in Excel format as well. And once
mm,
you are done with the writing of the test cases in the Excel format, you can import those. So in Jira as well, you can write your test cases in Excel. And once your test cases are ready, so you can import those into the Jira, and then it will show up on your tool. So that option is also there. And for most of the tools, this Jira or this integration with different software like Excel or like G Drive. So these options are there. So you can also write your test cases in this Excel format, and then you can import those into your Jira. From Jira as well, you can export your test cases in the Excel format. So that option is also there. So you can either import the test cases from Excel to Jira, or you can export your test cases from Jira to Excel files or CSV files.
mm,
Okay, so we will come later. Let's just complete today's part. It won't take much time. Okay, so we talked about this. Okay, so now the test execution tools. So regarding this test execution tools, I have already shown you that we can actually run these test cases from the tool, right? And from there, you can either make the test as pass or make the test as fail. If the test is failing, then you will have bugs associated with it or defect associated with it. And if the test is passing, then you are good to go. So one thing, so that is for the functional test cases. For automation testing, there are some tools available where you can record and playback. So what do you mean by record and playback? I mean the steps that you are performing, those you can actually record by the tool. Okay, and then it will generate some script, some automation script which you can keep, and from the next time you can just execute that script, and it will do everything for you. You
mm,
don't need to test manually test the same thing again and again. But yes, it won't give you the assertion. So if you are just recording and doing the playback, you can just check the positive test cases. Okay, but if you want to do some assertion, some verification, if you want to test the negative things, so in that case, you will again need to script or write the automation script there. So you need to make some changes there. So that comes under the automation testing. But for manual testing, you need to do it manually. So everything you need to do manually. The tool will be there from where you can refer to the test cases, and then once the testing is done, you can make it either pass or fail according to your test result. Okay,
mm.
So when people think of a testing tool, it is usually a test execution tool that they have in hand, a tool that can run tests. This type of tools is also referred to as a test running tool. Most tools of this type offer a way to get started by capturing or recording manual tests. Hence, they are also called as record or playback tools. Now the test comparator, so there are some tools which will actually help you to do the comparison between the expected and actual, and that is not really the UI testing or the functional testing that we will be doing. This is something like if you are doing some API testing, so those are not in our scope currently. You don't need to understand those things. So there are some tools which will actually help you to compare between the request and response. Okay, so whenever we are providing some request to the server, it is giving you some response back, and then you can check whether the response that we are getting from the server is equal to what we are expecting or not. So if it's expecting what we are getting is as per expectation, then this test comparator will tell you that those two responses are matching. So for that, this test comparator are used. Security tools are basically some tools which are specific for the security testing. If there are any hacker which are trying to hack your application, or through the network if some vulnerabilities are there, so those can be tested through this security testing tools. Okay, those are also not in our scope. Okay,
Mhm.
finally coming to the tool support for performance, load and stress testing. So when we want to test the performance, or we want to test the load or stress of the application, so there are different tools that are available which we can actually use to do our performance, load or stress testing. There is a open source tool called JMeter, which is free for use, and you can just download that and use. I will just show you that as well. So this is a tool from Apache. So you can just go here and you can download the software from here, and then you can install it and you can use it. So this is free and open source. Anyone and everyone can use it. Then there are some licensed performance tool as well. Okay, what is that? Load runner. So if you see load runner, so this is a licensed tool. Only first 30 days is free, and after that you need to pay for it. Okay.
Mhm.
So this is a tool which is provided by HP. Load runner is a HP tool. So you'll get some free trial, but after that you will need to pay for it. Okay, and this is used for load testing and performance testing and all. Okay.
Mhm.
So performance testing tools are basically for system level testing to see whether or not the system will stand up to a high volume of usage. A load testing is to check that the system can handle its expected number of transactions. A volume testing is basically to check that the system can handle a large amount of data. Example, many fields in a record, many records in a file, etc. A stress testing is one that goes beyond the normal expected usage of the system to see what would happen outside its design expectation with respect to load or volume. Okay, so what is load testing? What is stress testing? What is performance testing? We already discussed about that. It's just a tool that we can use to perform this performance tool, load and this stress testing. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. So what are the advantages of using this different test tools? What do you think?
It's less time consuming.
Yes. So it is less time consuming. The repetitive tasks that you are having, so those will be reduced by this, right? Because if you have this performance test or load test or stress test, if you have the JMeter, so you can keep all your tests there. Whenever you need to perform the load testing or performance testing, you can just execute from there itself. The test
Mhm.
cases and all, whenever you need to. So I displayed to you, right? Those folders containing the regression test, the smoke test, and all in Jira.
Mhm. Mhm.
So whenever you need to do the regression test or whenever you need to do the smoke test or sanity test, you can just open those tool, open the folder, and you can just execute your testing from there. So that's why
Mhm.
it reduces the repetitive work, and it provides the consistency and repeatability, because whenever you need those, you can just go there and it is consistent. uh, if you have those Excel files and all, those can get deleted by mistake, but if you have a tool, so everything is secured there, everything is will be present there until you delete those by yourself. Okay, so everything
Mhm.
is consistent there. Then objective assessment, it will provide you the report as well. I mean the test cases that, so I'll just show you. So so see the total test cases that have been passed, the total test cases that have been failed, what are the test cases that are failed. So you get all the reports here itself from
Mhm.
Jira. So see, this test case is failing. So you can go to that test cases and check which test case is failing, and then what is the associated defect with that. So everything is maintained here well, right?
Yeah.
So it will give you assessment, it will give you the report, and which you can provide to your higher management, or which will you can provide to the customers as well. So they will be they will be able to track it easily,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
it is ease of access to information about tests or testing. So whatever your test, what is your status of testing, how many tests you have executed, how many tests is left, what are the defects that are coming out, what is the volume of defects, is it required to raise a flag because lot of defects are coming. So all those reports can be generated, and that will give an insight to the management or to the uh, uh, customer as well. So that is the
Mhm.
advantage of using these different testing tools. So that is what we have from today's session. Do you have any query?
No, I'll read through it.
Okay, okay, fine. If you don't have anything, so let's just open the test case template. Okay, so
Mhm.
have you downloaded it?
Yes.
Okay, okay, fine. So I'll just show you one example, and then you can give a try it for some other examples as well. Okay, so I'll just enable the editing. So maybe the project name is Amazon. Okay, the module name is suppose login module you are testing. So what will be the release version? Say 1.0.0, the release version. Who is designing the test? Say Sunny. Test design date today is 31st, I guess, for you.
Yeah.
Then I'm not executing it right now, so I won't keep any date here. Okay, so what is precondition? Precondition is um, Amazon. So what does the precondition field mean? Precondition means when you are trying to test a particular test case, so what are the things that you require to test that application or test that particular test case? So if I ask you to test Amazon.com, so what will be the precondition for you?
It should be launched from this Chrome.
Yes. So you must be able to access the application and you must be able to launch the application, right?
Mm.
So that is the precondition. What is the test priority? So it is not a high priority test case. So maybe it is a medium priority test case. Okay. Now what is the test case ID? It can be test case underscore 001. The test title is basically verify login. Okay, what is the test
Mm.
summary? Test summary is to verify that the user that the valid user is able to log in successfully by entering correct username and password. Okay, this is the test summary. What is the test step? First is launch, navigate to https://amazon.com. So the first step will be to open www.amazon.com, right?
Mhm.
Next
Mhm.
step will be validate that on the login button. Third will be when you are writing the test case, so you need to remember that it is not mandatorily you will be testing the same test case, right? It might happen that you are writing the test case, but one of your team member will actually going to execute that. So
Mhm.
you need to write the test case in such a way so that anyone, even a you know a student of class 5 should be able to read that and understand and follow the step.
Mhm.
So you need to write those steps in such way. So see, the way I am writing, anyone can read it and understand what actually you are trying to do, and anyone
Mhm.
can follow this step and actually execute it. Test data is suppose username, what is the expected result? So the first expected result is should be able to
Login.
launch
Browser.
then login button should be present. Third is right?
Mhm.
So what is the post condition? Post condition is not required. They have added it, but it's not required. So actual result is basically when you will be testing it. So at that time you will add what is happening. So I'll
Mhm.
just delete the post condition. This is not required. So now suppose in this way you have written some test cases. So this is for login positive test case, right?
Mhm.
So now there will be another one. Say I'll just copy paste for now. This will be test case 002. Test title. This is positive one. This is suppose the negative one. So test summary will be to verify that the invalid user is not able to log in by entering incorrect username and password.
Mhm.
Okay, so this will be almost same. Enter invalid username and password. Click on login button. Test data will be should be able to launch. Login button should be present. Everything will be. So this will be the test case for the negative scenario.
Mhm.
Okay. Now you can again break down this negative scenario to multiple test cases, right? You can
Yeah.
enter invalid username, correct password, right?
Mhm.
Then correct username, invalid password. Then you can
Mhm.
also try with blank username, blank password, right?
Mhm.
So all those are different type of testing or different ways, different test cases. So in
Mhm.
that way, you need to break down the scenarios into different cases, all the positive cases and all the negative cases you need to write, right? So this is the way how you write the test case. Okay.
Mhm.
Now suppose your test cases are ready and now you need to execute it. So either you can execute it from Jira, or say your organization is not using Jira, they are using the Excel files itself. So now what will you do? You will come here, say you are testing it. So you will write your name here, and the execution date is say one, say you will test everything. You will follow these steps and perform the steps manually. You will open Amazon, will enter the correct username password, and you are able to log in and you are into the home screen. So now what will you do? Your actual result is
Pass. Pass.
user is able to log in with correct username and password. So this is the actual result. The status would be pass. Okay.
Mhm.
Now what you are doing while you are testing this one, suppose you are able to log in using the invalid username and password. So what
Mhm.
will happen? The actual result will be user is able to log in with incorrect username and password. Status would be fail, right?
Mhm. Uh-huh.
And in the notes section, suppose you have logged a bug. Okay, so you'll come here and give the bug ID, whatever is the bug ID. Or you can, maybe you can provide the link as well. If you are having, say, something like this. So if this is the bug ID, then you can, just provide the bug ID here, link of the bug here.
Mhm.
Okay, so that, everything is linked here. So if this is failing due to this particular bug.
Mhm.
So this is how the test cases are written. Any query.
No, it's easy to watch you doing it.
So it might happen as well that in the interview, okay, they will ask you that what are the different things that a test case document, or what are the different fields that a test case document will have. So in that
Mhm.
case, you need to mention all these fields, right? The
Mhm.
priority, the precondition. These are not mandatory, because if you are using a particular tool, so in that case this will come automatically. I mean, if you are writing the test case in a tool, your name will automatically be captured there, so you don't need to
Mhm.
mention all this by yourself. If you are executing, your name should came there automatically, so those will be automatically captured. But these are
Mhm.
the things that you need to remember. Okay, what are the different fields that are there in a test case. And then they might ask you to prepare or write a few test cases as well. So if they ask you to write a few test cases, you need to open a excel file, or they will provide the template to you, and then you need to write in this way. So this is just
Mhm.
an example I have given you. For the login feature itself, or login module itself, you can write almost 15 to 20 test cases for
Mhm.
different combinations, right?
Yeah.
So that is how the test cases are normally written.
Mhm.
Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you can do is you can take any example, right? Any example. Say, what are the applications that you use to book the flights?
Airlines.
So yeah, so like a flight booking, a test case for to book a flight. So that you can try to write the test cases for that. So that will
Mhm.
actually help you to understand how to write those test cases, should be the different steps, what should be the different expected result for that. And then you can show it to me as well whenever you are done with that. So just write 4 or 5 test cases for a flight booking, both the positive and negative test cases.
Mhm.
And whenever you are ready with that, just show it to me. I will check that, and I'll let you know what are the things that has to be added there, whatever you have missed. So we can do a quick review of that as well. So that will actually help you more to understand how the test cases are written.
Mhm.
Okay, you can take a snapshot of this, so that you can review this later. You can take a snapshot of this screen.
Okay. I got it.
Okay, fine then. I guess we are good with today's session then.
Yeah.
Any
Thank you.
queries from your side? Anything?
No, only when I review, I'll have some questions. Everything looks easy on the screen.
Okay. Okay. Fine then. Let's meet tomorrow. Have a good
Okay.
night.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
You have a
Yeah.
good day.
Bye.
Mhm.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.